2012. That was the year the Indian Test cricket team received two major setbacks. The retirement of two Test legends Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakshman. When the rest of the world was leaving a sigh of relief that they wouldn't have to struggling against the Indian Test team anymore, there emerged another mini wall for India in the form of a poor kid who didn't have money even to afford proper cricket coaching, and that kid had the name Cheteshwar Pujara. And since then, has donned the number 3 batting position role in a sublime fashion, and he being a steady head for India is one of the major reasons for India's dominance in Tests. The right-handed batsman is known for his grit, character, and the ability to blunt opposition teams, which makes him one of the top 10 Test players today. But he also has an eye-opening coincidence which is too impractical to exist, which I will tell you at the end. But now, let's begin the video. Our story begins on January 25, 1988 in the city of Rajkot in Gujarat, where Arvind Pujara and Rima Pujara gave birth to a beautiful boy whom they named Cheteshwar Pujara. Since his father and cousin both were state-level first-class cricketers, there is no doubt that Pujara wouldn't like the sport. But Pujara didn't set his goal equal to his father and cousin to be a first-class cricketer. He wanted to go a step ahead and play at the international arena. The reason for this are his parents. Once Pujara's father had discovered his son's potential when his son was 2.5-years-old accidentally. When one of his cousins took a photograph, Pujara was captured while batting in the background. Those photographs showed a good balance. There was one photo where the young boy was playing a rising ball, and had his eyes firmly fixed onto it. Sensing that, his dad initiated him into cricket. Knowing Pujara's love for cricket, his parents gave him a cricket kit and sent him to play with friends. While playing in the neighborhood, his parents used to relish his stability, stance and foot movement. But the problem here was that his father was just a domestic cricketer and didn't earn much money. Therefore, he worked in the railways, which too earned his family just enough to eat. So, he couldn't afford to send Pujara to proper coaching. But, Pujara was taken to nearby grounds to play. But he witnessed some tough times during his younger days, as he was only allowed to participate in the tennis ball cricket as a wicketkeeper. However, his dad didn't allow Pujara to bat and took him home just when his turn was arriving. This is not because his father hated Pujara. This is just because Pujara's father thought that the difference in the bounce of the tennis ball as compared to the season or the leather ball would affect his son's batting in the future. Still, his dad used to bowl to him nearby his home for Pujara to practice or ask his brother to bowl to him. His mom also sewed his pads and had complete belief in her son and had the conviction that he would represent the nation one day. With such a confidence invested in him, Pujara played exceptionally well in local tournaments, which paved a way for his entry into the Saurashtra under-14 team. He started off as an all-rounder. But a former Indian player watched him play once and advised Pujara to focus on batting. In early 2001, a 12-year-old Pujara smashed 306 not out for against Baroda under-14. It was a knock that showed that this guy could bat a long time and had exemplary powers of concentration. In an interview, Pujara himself has said, "In my debut game for Saurashtra at the under-14 level, I scored a triple hundred and it just took off from there. From that point onwards, I have been consistent at under-16 and the under-19 levels. But, that triple hundred was a major development. As a young boy, it gave me tremendous belief that I could make a career in cricket and become successful." At this exact time, Pujara hit 6 triple centuries in his representative career. Going back to the one he scored in his first under-14 game, he also got 2 consecutive triples for Saurashtra under-22s in 2008. He has then scored 3 first-class triple centuries. In fact, the 2 triples for Saurashtra under-22 and the maiden first-class triple had come in a space of 1 month. After this brilliant performance, He was drafted in the Indian under-19 team. He then made his under-19 Test debut for India against England in 2005. Opening the innings, he scored 211 runs to help India win by an innings and 137 runs. He was later picked in the Indian squad for the 2006 Under-19 World Cup after scoring 350s in 4 innings of the Afro-Asian Under-19 Cup. He was the leading run scorer of that Under-19 World Cup, scoring 349 runs from 6 innings, including 350s and a century, at an average of 117, and was named the man of the tournament. But at his age of 17, struck the biggest blow of his life. Pujara was forced to deal with the news that his mother had lost her battle with cancer and passed away. Only 5 days later, he was due to play in an under-19 match for his team, and cricket was the last thing on the vulnerable teenager's mind at the time. However, he was convinced to go out and bat by his father, and in a match that meant everything, Pujara scored his first century. But to forget the loss of his mom, he needed to do something. And in his case, he practiced till he turned dead tired. He even practiced for more than 4 hours in few cases to forget the loss of his mom. Since then, he never stopped his dominance. After brilliant performances in the domestic arena, he became a household name. But he never got an opportunity to enter the national team in the star-studded squad consisting of Sachin, Dravid, Sehwag, Lakshman, Ganguly, Gambhir, etc. But someone who works hard will always be favored by luck. Similarly, just before a match against Australia, both VVS Lakshman and Yuvraj Singh were injured and Pujara was named the replacement. Though he took 2 catches at silly point as a substitute, Pujara scored 4 runs in the first innings before getting out LBW on the 3rd ball he faced. In the second innings, he was sent in at number 3 in place of Rahul Dravid in a tactical change by MS Dhoni. With India needing 207 runs to win, Pujara scored a valuable 72. Though he scored valuable runs in his first few games, Pujara didn't get much chances for India due to the presence of senior players and gave a few on and off performances for the next few years in national colours. But he was still rocking in the domestic circuit. But the year he became a regular fixture of the national side was 2012, largely due to the retirement of Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakshman, and was selected in India's squad to play for a 4-match test series against England. In the first match, he made an unbeaten 206 runs and helped his national side to win the match and take a lead in the series, and was also named man of the match for his inning. He continued his good form when he made another 100 in the second match at Wankhede Stadium, Mumbai. He not only made big scores in next 2 matches, but also ended the series as second highest run scorer behind England captain Alistair Cook with 438 runs. He became the second fastest Indian to get to 1,000 test runs, during the course of his double 100 against Australia in March 2013, at Hyderabad, where he put on a 370-run record second-wicket partnership with Murali Vijay and became the 12th fastest of all time in terms of the number of tests to reach the 1,000-run mark in 11 matches, equaling Sunil Gavaskar as the fastest Indian to reach the mark. After a brilliant test series against Australia scoring 419 runs, only second to Murali Vijay's 430, in which he slammed a double tons 204 and 2 half-centuries. In the next tour to South Africa in 2013, he emerged as the highest run scorer in the Test series, scoring 280 runs at an average of 70.00. After this, there was no end to his remarkable career. Though he has a poor tour at England in 2014 where, despite getting good starts, he failed to convert them into big scores. He then received permission from the BCCI and signed to play for Derbyshire to play in their last 3 games of the season. After a poor first game, he finished the stint scoring 212 runs, that included an unbeaten 90 in the win over Surrey and an unbeaten century against Leicestershire. After this exposure, his poor form in the international arena ended as sprung back to form during a series against Sri Lanka in August 2015 with a best score of 145 not out in the 3rd test. He continued to work on his game, however he remained in the reckoning for a national comeback. He made the most of an injury setback to Murali Vijay in the 2015 series at Sri Lanka, reminding the selectors of his mettle by carrying his bat through his epic unbeaten 145 on an uncharacteristically seaming wicket at Colombo and paving the way for an Indian win in the decider of that series. After this, he raised the bar even further since then, hammering routine hundreds during India's long home run and the odd series in Sri Lanka and the West Indies. He passed 2,000 runs in a year by scoring 2,043 runs at an average of 102.15 in first-class matches in 2013. He is also the second fastest Indian to score 1,000 test runs and the man who has faced the most deliveries in a single test innings, which is 525. He then climbed to a career-best number 2 spot in the rankings for test batsmen after his double century against Australia in March 2017. He is the 6th Indian cricketer to score a century in a tour outside Asia on the first day. He is the 11th Indian cricketer to reach 6,000 test runs. He also became the 3rd batsman for India, and 9th overall to bat on all 5 days of a test. His patriotism could be seen in the recently concluded historic series against Australia, in which Pujara endured 11 blows to the body during the second innings of the test at Brisbane. Yes, you heard me right. 11, thrice on the helmet, once on the left bicep, thrice on the bottom glove on his right arm, and once on the chest, and some more. When he was asked about this, Pujara replied that, in case I took my hand up to defend it, there was a risk that I would glove the ball. Considering the match situation and how we couldn't afford to lose wickets, I decided to let the ball hit my body. Even after these many injuries, Pujara continued to play for the nation instead of retiring hurt. Following Rahul Dravid's footsteps, Pujara has created numerous records. But didn't I mention about a coincidence too close to be practical? Well, the coincidence, as I mentioned earlier, is that both Pujara and Dravid reached the 5,000 run mark in tests in the same number of innings, which is 108. Interestingly, both reached the 3,000 run feat an equal number of innings, which is 67, and their 4,000 test runs an equal number of innings, which is 84. This isn't just a mere coincidence. Don't you feel so? Focusing on to his personal life, he married Pooja on 13th of February 2013, and on February 23, 2018 the couple became parents of a baby girl named Aditi. Now what we can learn from the life of Pujara is that talent is cheaper than table salt. But the difference between a talented man and a successful man are loads of hard work, practice, patience, and the ability not to give up. With this note I would like to end today's video. I will see you in another video. Till then, goodbye.